Good evening and welcome to the Revere, Paul Revere School, actually my old elementary school. It did not look this nice when I went to, as young as I look, I was not around for elementary school in this building. But very quickly, we are here this evening to discuss the maintenance facility on D.C.R. property in the City of Revere. And I want to start off by acknowledging and showing appreciation for our partners at D.C.R. And the long-standing relationship that the city has had to really make Revere Beach the destination that we all know it is, and it continues to look beautiful each and every year. I do want to acknowledge some of the elected officials that we have here tonight. We have Ward 2 City Councilor Ira Novoselsky. Thank you for attending. We also have representatives from Speaker DeLeo and Rep. Vincent's office, both of whom have been champions on all DCR related issues, and we appreciate, the city certainly appreciates their help. This evening, I forgot our good friend, former mayor and city councilor Bob Hatz. Thank you for being in attendance also. And thank you, Bob, for mentioning that. So tonight is a critical milestone in terms of the TOD project at Waterfront Square and the redevelopment of certain parcels on the beach. And we're excited about the progress that's been made, and look forward to a healthy kind of conversation about what the future of the DCR maintenance facility will look like. And we're excited, and I rise in support of this project. So with that, I will request that our commissioner, Mr. Leo Roy, come up and address everyone in terms of this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you all for coming. This meeting has been a long time in the coming. I know this project, you're going to hear a little bit of history of this project from speakers to follow me, but this is a project that's been a long time in the making, and we're here at a momentous time to really advance this project very quickly, because I think everyone appreciates that we care desperately about this place and this beach and the resource that we all share. And in order to maintain that resource and keep it up, including the roadways, the sand, and the sidewalks, and the trash cans, and all the bathrooms, don't forget the bathrooms, also so important, we really need a suitable facility to work from. And so that's really what we're here to talk about tonight. I've just been your D.C.R. commissioner for 9 months, and so the mayor and I started about the same time, and it was really within days of both of us taking our new jobs that we actually got together and started talking about this partnership, not only for this project, but for the broader things that we want to do with the City of Revere. Because we realize, and that's one thing that Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, my boss, Matt Beaton, we believe very strongly in our partnership with municipalities. That's extremely important to this administration, because we realize that we in state government can't do it alone, and also municipal government can't do it alone. So it really has to be a partnership, and that's why I'm so excited about the enthusiasm that your new mayor brings to his job, and the enthusiasm that I bring to my job. The mission of DCR is to protect, promote, and enhance our common wealth, and we really take that very seriously, of natural, cultural, and historic resources for the benefit of all. We at the DCR really have an awesome responsibility on your behalf, on the behalf of all the citizens of Massachusetts, for the nearly 500,000 acres of land that we protect and steward for the citizens. And we take that responsibility very seriously, and our team works very, very hard every day to honor that trust that's put in us. And we've got a number of staff who are here, and I'm very, very grateful every day for the work that you guys do. also in noting the dignitaries, Mr. Mayor, I want to also note Patricia Briand from Senator Boncore's office. I'm sure the senator has been at almost every meeting I've been at here in Revere and in Winthrop, so he's missed. And Senator and Representative Vincent, I understand, is along the Danube right now, and so I'm going to compare notes with Ricky to find out about her itinerary, because my wife just hit me with the fact that she wants to take a similar trip in October. So here's to that. Just one word about the purpose of tonight's meeting, and that's really important. We like to set the stage for our meetings to understand what are we trying to accomplish in our time together, and I really appreciate your coming out because we're very interested in getting your feedback and your input on this project. So what we want to do is very quickly share with you, as I said, a little bit of the history of the project and what brought us to this point, a little bit about the project itself, but really to provide information to you about the siting and design for the new public restroom facilities and maintenance facility. I never thought as your D.C.R. commissioner I was going to be so focused on bathrooms as I am. But what I have come to learn is when people come to our beaches and our recreational facilities, the first thing they do is use the bathroom. And particularly here, if people are coming from the neighborhoods or if they're coming on the T, they're going to use the bathroom. And the last thing they do before they leave is they use the bathrooms. So bathrooms are absolutely critical. We want to talk about the location of the facility because, as some of you know, it's been in a temporary location. It's going to move to another temporary location until the permanent home is finally completed. We want to mention that to you. And most importantly, we really want to hear from you. We want to answer any questions you have and really have a good dialogue about this project and where it's going. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Paul Rupp, who's... Oh, Ira. Oh, terribly sorry. Thank you. It's right here. Counselor Ira Novoleski will be telling us a little bit about the background of the project and then turning it to Paul Rupp. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Counselor. Appreciate it.
I thought we were going to get off on a good start here. But I want to thank you, Commissioner. And the Commissioner was pushing the word partnership. The City of Revere and D.C.R., formerly MDC, have been partners for over 100 years. And working with them and the work that the guys do on the beach has been outstanding over the last 10 or 15 years. And we thank you and your predecessors for all the hard work that they do, that they've done, and they're going to do in the future. So we're very happy with them, and we're glad that they're all moving together, you know, with your office staff and the beach staff will be together in one facility. And I think it's appropriate that this location is probably the best location out of the whole area of Ocean Avenue to be placed. I know there were other thoughts which many of us were not happy with. I have a couple constituents here that came here to make sure it's going here and not where they live. So, you know, and I thank them for their input, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have thought twice of where it would be placed. Now, over the years, Ocean Ave has always been, the back part, desolate. You know, when in the 1950s, when they did urban renewal, and then we had the rides and the amusement parks, the whole length all the way down to Revere Street. You know, but things change. This is a change, and I think it's a change for the better. I'm glad to see where it's going. People know in advance what's happening rather than it say, oh, all of a sudden it's being built, to say what's going there. Now they know what's going there. You know, and it's actually the first rendering that I've seen of where, you know, the new building on that side of the State Police Barracks. But I think it's a great idea that all your staff will be together. A lot of my constituents will be happy because all of this, all the way from Revere Street down to Shirley Ave, is my district. And I know these people are concerned. Not everybody's going to be happy, but we will deal with it a little at a time. But we have the interim space between the two buildings that's going to happen. I know we chased out the carnivals there last year, but again, this is progress, and it's progress to a good point. So I want to thank the commissioner and the mayor and everybody involved, Budge and Joe DeGangi, for their assistance in this thing. It's a great project. I'm glad it's going there. The only problem I have is they don't have a clock to watch. you know, and so they don't want to have to wash their bathing suits. So with that, who's next? Paul Rupp? Introduce Paul Rupp, one of our distinguished consultants. That's he's been in business with me since 1978 when I first ran for city council a second time. And Paul was in the city planner at the time in that department, and he's a good guy. He's come up with a lot of good ideas, and he's sticking with us up to this day. So Paul Rupp.
Thanks, Ira. It all begins back in the late 50s, early 60s. I was going to say Ira might have been a city councilor then, but I don't think I could get away with that. All of Ocean Avenue was a massive urban renewal project. I think it was, as I recall, UR1, the first urban renewal project in Massachusetts, and it was a massive failure. The end result was a redevelopment authority was abolished here in the city. They changed the form of government, and the state took all the land back, and it sat there for the next 40 years as vacant space and parking lots used by D.C.R., MDC, MBTA, and until the 70s when a serious effort took place to encourage new private development there, and the first of a series of special legislation was enacted that allowed for a land assembly, land swap, amusement park to D.C.R., MDC, parking lots to private developers, and master plan for the whole park development. Some success happened over the years, but not a lot. A succession of mayors, Mayor Colella, Mayor Haas, Mayor Ambrosino, Mayor Rizzo, and now Mayor Arrigo have pushed the agenda forward steadily at every opportunity and thought new ways and new angles to make it happen. I think the breakthrough really came 15 years ago when the city strategically decided that the best way to get the development done was not to propose and let the state dispose, but to make the state agencies partners in the effort. And we did. We brought in D.C.R. and the MBTA and Executive Office of Housing and Economic Development and did visioning sessions, very elaborate visioning sessions with them, with the public, and we crafted a process wherein the parties together would offer an RFP for development proposals, would share in the decision-making, and would try to make it happen. And this has happened. We have assembled some $79 million in public money and have built the garage, built the public plaza, built the pedestrian bridge, and now are aimed at this facility. This is being made possible by Chapter 183 of the Acts of 2011, which allows the proceeds from land sale to not go back to the general fund, but to be used for this purpose. So all in all, it's an exercise in multi-agency cooperation and planning. Okay? Yeah. I'm sorry? Yeah, we're just going to touch quickly on the master plan and then we'll move on. It's there. Oh, I'm sorry. So this represents the end result. This is the master plan for Waterfront Square. Eurovest is the lead developer here. And the full build out, there's approximately 1,000 housing units. There is a hotel, retail planned. But critical to this is this relocation of the D.C.R. facility. Without that, none of the next phases can proceed. So I think with that, we should just move along in the program. All right, who's next? Nick. All right, thanks.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Nick Gove. I'm the Assistant Deputy Commissioner here at D.C.R. I started with D.C.R. in 2008. This is a site, an area I'm very familiar with. I started as the district manager out here, so this is an area I'm pretty familiar with. So, not going to go into too much detail, but history of Revere Beach, America's first public beach. Revere has been one of the busiest properties in the MDC portfolio, now the D.C.R. portfolio, for over 100 years. It provides, an amazing recreational opportunity year-round. It's publicly accessible by transportation, and it provides, an urban beach reservation to thousands of people who live in metropolitan Boston. The usage has changed, as Paul and some other folks have mentioned earlier, but it continues to be a really, really popular destination. So maintenance challenges. Managing anything in a saltwater coastal environment is a challenge. This area is susceptible to storms. We deal with challenging conditions during snow and ice. Daily in the summer, particularly, we deal with tens of thousands of visitors per day. This is a 7-day-a-week, 24/7 operation. There's a significant sanitation operation that occurs in Revere, and we're fortunate that the staff out here does an excellent job. So as mentioned, so here's the proposed new location north of the state police barracks. Here's our current temporary location, and we're going to be moving north to what will hopefully be our last temporary location for the next 18 months. Why do we need a permanent maintenance facility here? We've been operating in a number of temporary locations for years. It's inadequate space for operations, and it has limited functionality. This project is great because it's twofold. We're going to be bringing a maintenance facility to Revere, but also there's going to be public accommodations, restrooms, drinking fountains. It's important to know that this facility not only serves Revere Beach, but it also serves the other coastal reservations in the area, Winthrop, East Boston, and even as far as Chelsea. So, as I mentioned before, sanitation, litter collection, street sweeping, the daily raking and sanitation of the beach that so many people are familiar with here, park and parkway maintenance, everything from snow and ice, emergency response, filling potholes, storm response, etc. So with that, I am going to hand it over to David to talk about some of the details of the design.
I'm David Boyce with Arrow Street, the architects. Just wanted to put the project team up here. Our team has been involved in working in Revere for almost 10 years now. We were involved with Eurobest early in the process, coming up with the master plan for the project site, and have continued to work through the MBTA parking garage, the public plaza, bridge, the 650 Ocean. Many of the team members have worked on these projects, and we're continued to be committed to Revere and this area in particular. The project itself, again, looking at the sites, and Nick went over the sites, there is currently a construction zone between the two developed buildings. That zone is clearing up as the building's near completion. That's the site that the temporary facility will go into in the short term while the new site is under construction. This is important because it opens up the other sites to additional development. The facility itself, is a prominent location, and as such, we're working to design it in a way that A, fits with the historic police station, enhances the beach. We've got screen walls around the entire facility trying to contain the work that has to go on there that's necessary for beach maintenance, but contain it in an attractive way. Screening of roofs over some of the material storage areas that are necessary for short-term maintenance issues. And also, we're working to make this a state-of-the-art facility in terms of environmentally sustainable practices. So we're looking at putting photovoltaics on the roof of the garage structure, again, making this building self-sufficient as much as possible. This is a view from Revere Beach Boulevard, looking back, kind of standing in the middle of the street, but in front of the existing historic police station, looking back at the new facility, looking north towards Revere Street. You can see on the upper side at Revere Street, it's a relatively small building, so the site actually has a pretty significant grade change. So the trucking and all of the operations side is down, accessed off of Ocean Avenue. Up on Revere Street is more the public side, the public restrooms and the offices. Again, as we develop these projects, we kind of look at the site and the surroundings, and we wanted to just kind of give you some reference points for some of the project elements that are going to be in there. Obviously, the masonry screening wall around the site to keep the visuals, aesthetics around the perimeter of the site clean. We've got integrated landscape seating in areas facing the beach. We're really trying to integrate the landscape of the parklands that are around the building into this project, and that's an important aspect of this. This is not just a temporary trailer facility. This is a finished building with masonry and brick, similar to the historic police barracks, trying to fit in with the context of the beach. Preliminary project schedule, we are in design at the moment. We're in the early phases of design. We're here to talk to understand if there are any concerns that we need to address right now. We'll be finishing documents to allow the construction to start in the spring. It doesn't make a lot of sense to start the construction in the middle of the winter. So, and then it's about a 43-week construction period. So the idea is that it starts next spring in 2017. By the summer of 2018, it would be fully operational, and the temporary site would be closed. Again, one of the things that we will do is come back once we have a construction manager to talk about the construction impacts of the site, because like every construction project, there are impacts. We're really trying to minimize these. Regular construction hours, the normal 7 a.m. to 3, it's not extended hours. Access to the beach will be maintained. The site will be contained and secured so that it's safe for, D.C.R. understands there's a public beach that's going to be occupied here. So this will all be written into any construction documents, and the construction managers will understand that, and we'll be back here in April of this year before construction starts. Public benefits have been talked about, but it really is the addition of restroom facilities kind of in the middle of the beach where there really are none. The offices, the maintenance in a location that will allow D.C.R. to continue to maintain the beach in the way that they have over the past years.
Thank you, David. My name is Paul Revere. I'm the Director of Economic Development for the City of Revere. Fairly new to this position, but not new to Revere. I live actually at the other end of Ocean Avenue, down near the D.C.R. Elliott Square facility. And I want to, since I experience D.C.R. reservation and the fine work that D.C.R. does every day, add to the list of partners the Department of Corrections, because were it not for all of those orange uniforms out there, the beach would look very much different for all of us. And I think the partnership among all of the state and city agencies is really quite remarkable, quite effective, and often invisible, but tremendously effective. It is now your opportunity to comment and question anything about the design in its conceptual stage. It is, in fact, a consensus plan that has already been arrived at as a result of a lot of input from the community, and not least among those leading that discussion was Representative Rosalie Vincent, who, as the Commissioner said, is on the Danube, but has sent her able aid with a letter of support from the representative. And Ricky, if you could come up and speak to the representative's position.
Hi everyone, so I'm Ricky Serino, Rep. Vincent's legislative aide, and she did send me with a prepared statement in the form of a letter, so I'm going to read the letter, and then based on the presentation, I'll just make a quick observation. To whom it may concern, I apologize for not being here for this important meeting. Unfortunately, I already had a family vacation planned for this week. Please know that this is a critical project for our beach that has been in the works for a very long time. I, along with my colleagues at the State House, am committed to working with D.C.R., the City of Revere, and the residents to see this project through to completion. I believe we are all on the same page regarding the siting of this new maintenance facility. The area abutting the current state police barracks is a sensible location for a facility that will also include a new public bathhouse in the center of Revere Beach. On many occasions, I have discussed design concepts with D.C.R. and city officials. I have encouraged that the design of the facility mimic the style of the state police barracks and that the hardscape be softened with appropriate landscapes such as trees, shrubs, etc., in order to buffer the maintenance facility from the beach reservation. It's my hope that this vision is included in the final design plans for the facility. I know there have been some concerns among my constituents that Sullivan Park had been considered as a possible site for the temporary relocation of D.C.R's maintenance operations. After inquiring about this notion and advocating against it, I am confident that D.C.R. has no plans to temporarily relocate maintenance operations to Sullivan Park. I want to reiterate that once this project is complete, it will complement America's first public beach, in addition to providing the public with a central bathhouse and allowing D.C.R. a modern facility to ensure the gem of our city is kept in pristine order. Thank you, and I look forward to continuing to work with D.C.R., the city and the state delegation, and the residents of the city to ensure that this is a project we can all be proud of. Sincerely, Rosalie Vincent, State Representative. So after seeing tonight's presentation and hearing tonight's presentation, I'm sure Rep. Vincent will be very supportive and proud of this project. And thank you, Commissioner Roy and Mayor Rigo, for convening this presentation.
Thank you, Ricky. Among those that are the immediate neighbors of the new permanent facility are the new waterfront square buildings that one of which has been completed and occupied and one of which is nearing the end of completion. And I know Budge Upton is with us here tonight. Budge, I'm sorry. And I believe we'll be able to speak for your colleagues at Covington as well. Budge.
Thank you, Bob. 110% in support of what you guys are doing. The sensitivity toward as soon as possible, which has to do with the speed of design and construction. Maintenance, going forward, security. Question about whether there are going to be some green elements to this building, solar panels, recycling rainwater, that kind of thing. I don't know that you have all the answers, but it certainly would be an interesting place to demonstrate that kind of thing, which is so important in today's world. Also be concerned about the opportunity to review and comment on a construction management plan. Our building is very close to where all the action is going to be happening, and so we'd like to be kept current. We're going to be occupying our building. First phase starting in December, and then the last phase will be open in no later than April of 2017. So issues related to occupancy are very real to us, and there's a real sense of immediacy because we're about to finish. I also think that if we can all be sensitive to how these tenants actually move along Ocean Avenue and the experience that they have getting down to the T, that has to do with some very simple things like curbing and sidewalks and crosswalks. That's something that probably warrants some further discussion, not only with you people, but also with other developers who will be working in the area. That's really about it. We're thrilled to be involved in this. We're very proud of our building. We look forward to working in Revere in the future. And I would say that if any of you at some point want to get a tour through our building, probably the best thing to do is to let us know and we'll figure something out. It's a little helter-skelter out there right now, but we're very open to letting people know what the possibilities, what the possibilities of good design are on the beach. So the last thing I say is I talked to Lou Minikucci from Covington today, who couldn't be here this evening, but he wanted us to also convey to you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioner, that they too are fully in support of the project and are prepared to write a letter stating that, which they will do. I think it might be helpful if this presentation, the architectural presentation, might be forwarded to ourselves, to Covington and other interested parties, because it's quality stuff, and it's important that people see it and understand that. So Covington also 110% behind the project.
Very good. Budge mentioned good design on the beach. I might note that that good design on the beach is also attributable to Arrow Street, whom David represents here today. David, is there anything you want to say about the green elements?
Yeah, but we are very sensitive to that, and we are hoping that this building can be, we're working to try to design it with the least amount of mechanical systems as possible. So we feel like it's a great location where you can take advantage of natural ventilation for most of the summer. We know D.C.R. is supportive of sustainable design for a number of reasons. I mean, operationally, it makes sense for them as well. We have actually the roof of the garage is being pitched at the optimum for solar panels, and we're hoping to get those into this project. We're looking for all those opportunities as we go forward.
Thank you, David. A neighbor of Budge's on Ocean Avenue on the west side, and also a neighbor of this new facility across the street is Al D'Amico. Al, is there anything you'd like to say about the project?
I'm not looking forward.
You can stop right there. Another person who has been absolutely crucial to the entire Waterfront Square development, who has been referenced before by the name Eurovest, is Joe DeGangi. And in fact, Joe is doing yeoman's work to arrange for the temporary relocation of the trailer. You've been around this project for a while, Joe. Is there anything you want to say beyond accepting our thanks for your efforts?
Yes, we've been involved in this project since 2006, and with the cooperation of the state feds and local government, we've been able to fulfill the obligations of the master plan to about 50%. And the components that were essential for our success were the public components. And so temporarily, D.C.R. needed a place to stay, and historically they were always located on this lot that was adjacent to the train station. And now it's time for us to start constructing residential units and retail units and commercial units on that area, so we need to move them. And the arrangement was that we would move them only under the condition that a new facility would be built, and the state and the city have collectively got together and put together an arrangement that enables that to happen as we sell real estate. So to see the new facility is exciting. I got a view of it months ago, but this is very exciting, and I think it enhances the entire development and brings Waterfront Square to sort of a close proximity to the beach, or it makes the beach part of the Waterfront Square neighborhood. It closes the whole thing together. So we're excited, and we thank everyone that was involved in it.
Thank you, Joe. I might also add that the final square of Waterfront, the final phase of Waterfront Square will be done when the temporary facility is moved from Parcel 2 to its permanent location, and then Parcel 2 itself will be redeveloped. So this is all a complicated sequence, but a very productive one. Speaking of the waterfront, I see over here an old friend from Save the Harbor, Save the Bay, who also extends to the ocean, I believe, Bruce. And you've been involved in these efforts here and elsewhere for a very long time. Anything you would like to add?
I think everybody in this room likes watching you work a Roomba. It's pretty good. You know, Save the Harbor, Save the Bay, I first came to Revere with Paul Revere as part of an effort that was an attempt to sort of encourage the city of Revere and the state, D.C.R., and D.C. at the time, to plan together. And I'll never forget the first meeting. The mayor of Revere, Tom Ambrosino, and his planning department brought maps of the reservation, and the planning folks from D.C.R. brought maps of Revere. And nobody would make copies of each other's maps to share. We've come a really long way. I think I share Ricky's sense that this is a terrific thing. I think there's some people that aren't here tonight that deserve to be acknowledged if you don't, and that would be, I think, the members of the Metropolitan Beaches Commission who've been advocating for this capital investment tenaciously. And we're pleased at Safe Harbor Safe that they have been asked to lead and manage that effort on behalf of the legislature, Chairman Vincent and Senator McGee, who's coached there as well. And I know that Leo, Commissioner Wright, quite properly, thanked his boss, acknowledged his boss, Matt Beaton, for his support of this and the governor's support for this. I'd also think I'd be remiss if I didn't thank a tenacious guy who's not with us tonight, who loves the water, who understands this community, and has kept his eye on making sure that this could happen and would happen, and that, of course, would be the Speaker, Bob DeLeo. So I'm delighted to see this happen. I'm particularly delighted to see that the neighborhood's concerns about the temporary facility and the representative and others' concerns about the design have been so well acknowledged. I'm very glad to see the mayor and the commissioner on the same page, and I wish every community from Nahant to Nantasket, I wish them the same luck and the same results. Thanks.
I would add to the list of indispensable participants the Revere Beach Partnership, of which Paul and many others, including Leslie, are members, and I believe they may be represented in the room today. I would also pick up on your reference to the good speaker who is represented here today by Barbara, and I don't know whether there's anything you want to say on his behalf, but I would be remiss if I didn't invite you to do so.
Say thank you to everyone and who supports this project.
Excellent. And the senator is his representative. Would you like to add?
Strictly here just to observe tonight.
Okay, very good. Sitting next to you is an Ocean Avenue neighbor from the condominiums just to the south of here, who has been following this from my brief discussion before the meeting. Would you like to add anything to your sentiments on this consensus? And
I like this idea.
very good.
A lot better than what they originally planned.
Very good. Anybody? Any other hands up? Caitlin from Revere Beach Partnership.
Okay. The Revere Beach Partnership is really excited about this project too. We ask a lot of the D.C.R. throughout the year with all our events, and they're always so accommodating. So knowing that this will help them and helping us, we're all really excited about it.
Very good. And I would be remiss if I didn't ask Bob Haas if he didn't have something to say, having been here as councilor and former mayor for a good long time. You join another councilor and current mayor in doing so.
Thanks, Bob. I think this has been a long time in coming, a lot of hard work from a lot of people to make it happen. And this just goes in conjunction with the tremendous job that D.C.R. does in the cleaning of Revere Beach. They do a tremendous job. And I think this is going to be a focal point where in the past we dealt with Sullivan Park, we dealt with other issues. They have a concrete plan to make it happen. And I'm sure this will be a beautiful facility on the beachfront. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And seeing no hands, I will take that opportunity to end the Q&A on a positive note and turn it back to Brian and Leo if you have.
Thank you very much for coming this evening and for really the overwhelming support that we've heard from the community. I think it's a testament to the D.C.R. staff, working and really listening to the community. We know that there were some concerns before. We heard those concerns. We appreciate the need to have it really integrate into the landscape because we're really all in this together, and that's what partnerships are all about. So this is just the beginning, and this sign you see will be soon located at the site of the new facility so the community can begin to get used to the idea that there will be a building there, and we're very excited about this process. So thank you so much for coming out. If we advance the slide one more, there is an opportunity for neighbors and people who are not here today to provide comments This presentation will be posted on the D.C.R. website, and if there are people that do want to take a look at it, and if you have friends and neighbors who couldn't be with us this evening, who would like to comment on the plans, we welcome that input. So thanks very much for being with us, and drive safely on your way home. Thank you.